market is really a weird one. We obviously haven't seen anything like this ever. And I've been in it 20 years, but you need to be in it for maybe 100 years to figure this one out. But it's we're going to talk about tips and tricks to succeed in 26. And luckily, there's some themes for this year that we're going to show you how to be successful in. And you stay to the end. You get this free guide, shortcut to winning more listings and more buyers. Two of them. Um, Lots of tips, lots of tricks in here to convert your leads. Yeah, inventory shortage. I hear you. All right, let's talk about um, who I am. If you don't know already, I'm a real estate agent, and I'm just like you. Number two condo agent in San Francisco a while ago. It was a while ago, but I'm currently with Christie's International Real Estate, and I built a brokerage that was one of the top in the country, top 250 independent brokerages in the country, and we sold our brokerage to Realogy, which is now Compass, which is really amazing to me if you think about it. Who would have thought back in 2000 and whenever they came out, 12, 13, 14, that they would be buying the number one brokerage in the country in Realogy, which is anywhere. Nobody would have thought it. Anyway, kudos to them. We taught hundreds of agents how to win with our tips and tricks, and I'm going to teach you today. Now, this is existing home sales. And this is when I got started in the business during the heyday. And this was where the market went. But during this downturn is when I said there's an opportunity here. And same here. During the downturns is when the money is made, right? They also say, in order to make money on your assets, whatever they are, real estate or stock, the money's made in the purchase. The money's made in the beginning. You don't buy high and sell low. You buy low, sell high. And this is buying low in this market. Now, we just have to wait for this market to turn around and change. We unfortunately can't do that. We can't do much other than roll with the market. Now, this is what my brokerage used to look like. And we built a really fantastic team and brokerage. And again, we soared and Realogy took notice and got us. Now, I'm going to talk about this really, really slow time. And Trump, love him or hate him, he's, thank goodness, a real estate guy. And he sort of understands the value of low rates. You know, back of my brain is thinking that he wants low rates for his own real estate, selfish real estate reasons, but that's another issue. Doesn't matter. He's trying to lower the rates and he's attacking Jerome Powell. He's trying to put out things out there and make moves to change policies and change the environment for lower mortgage rates because they're obviously high. And, so if you don't know, he announced a $200 billion bond purchase to lower mortgage rates. So authorizing the purchase of these mortgage bonds to push the interest rates down on them. They seem to work a little bit, but this just came out on the 8th. Yeah, it kind of is, Laura, a rate problem, because the high rates are causing sellers to not sell, right? And so it starts with the rates, really, because if I'm a seller and I have a 2% rate or 3% rate, why would I ever sell and get rid of that home, right? So the rates, because if you have to rebuy, you have to, you have to get a rate at 6%. I'd rather just keep up my home at 3%. And so it really is a rate problem. And that's causing sellers to not sell, right? And sure, it's an inventory problem, but the reason why there's an inventory problem is because there's a rate problem. And another thing that Trump is doing is he's trying to stop private equity companies from buying homes. And I kind of like this idea. I mean, they were by systematically buying up huge neighborhoods and then renting those out because the yields on that sort of investment and purchase were good. So private equity was arming themselves with a lot of money to buy houses and reduce supply. So he's put together something to limit Wall Street from buying. That's not going to take effect for a while now because it's not even authorized yet, but he's pushing. And then mortgage portability. So what does that mean? Well, you take your 3% rate and you bring it to the next house. There's a lot of problems around this with the mortgage-backed security industry and how mortgages are priced, um, and a lot of structural changes. But he's trying. He's trying to do things. I'm not for Trump. I'm not against him. And but I'm just saying that these are the things he's trying to do to push rates down. Now, in the meantime, you know, we a lot of us made it rich and got big during the boom, but real estate is a long game, and slow and steady wins at this game. And especially now, right? Super slow time, 30-year low in sales. The turtle always wins in this game. And now think about how you make money in real estate. You have buyers, you have sellers, you have leasing, you have property management, you have renters, you sell houses, you sell condos, you sell apartments, you sell investment properties, you work with first-time buyers, you do new developments. Maybe you work with landlords to help manage their properties. I said that already. Or you do seniors. So expand, right? Try to find another niche that you're going to move into. Why? Because how you catch that fish is a little different, right? So I personally used to only do listings. I didn't work with buyers later in my career. And then I didn't work with renters and I didn't do property management. But now I've added a property management division and now I've added leasing to my own portfolio of services. And that's helping a lot. And, think of it this way. You're a fisherman, you're fishing, and there's millions of lakes you could fish in, right? Try to find another lake or expand, throw another rod in another fishing pond, right? But make sure it's not too crowded. Don't do the same thing everyone else is doing, especially when trying to get leads. So really kind of think about how many people are fishing in my pond and how am I going to be the one to catch the fish, right? Now, catching the fish, what does that mean? Well, that means closing the lead. And so you need really good fishing rod and hook to catch that fish. And that's what we're going to talk about today, how to catch these fish faster and better than the other fishermen in the pond. All right. Now, listen, we've been there. There are sales funnels. Your business is a sales funnel. You're either a little one or a big one. When we started out, we were a little one. And that was 20 years ago, right? In the beginning, we weren't the top agents. We weren't around for decades, and we weren't the most experienced, right? And we hadn't been around for a century. We were new to the game. But what we figured out, because we were always at a disadvantage, we always felt like we had this chip on our shoulder. We needed to prove. We always found that edge to win. And we're going to talk about how do you win listings? How do you win listings, right? Now, but for 2026, okay? Sorry about this slide. I didn't have time to animate this slide. But what I'm going to tell you is everything that's circled here. 2/3 of top agents' businesses come from repeat clients and referrals. That's a shocking number, 2/3. And in fact, when I was super active, in fact, today, I think 100% of my business is from referrals and old listings, old clients. But you see, Reese Media says 82% of all real estate transactions come from repeat and referral business. That's very high. NAR says 46% of sales volume is from repeat business and 44% from past client referrals. NAR also says 38% of sellers find their agent via referral from friends and 28% reuse a previous agent. Okay. Now, we know these stats, we know a lot of this stuff, but it's a huge problem for real estate agents to stay in touch with their old clients. And I'm going to give you some tips around that. Now, here's another good one. 89% of buyers said they would recommend or use their agent again, as well as 85% of sellers. However, 12% of those buyers actually use the agent they worked with in the past. 12% compared to 89% of buyers saying they want to. Why? It's because the buyer agent lost touch with that client. And I'm guilty of this. Every agent is guilty of this. Now, don't be guilty of this going forward, right? Um, and so a great way and a great thing to do right now is to do an annual real estate review. What does that mean? Well, you send out something that talks about their anniversary of the purchase of their home, right? And talk about where the market's going to be. Maybe send some comps of the area, send some market updates, send some articles. I just did this yesterday. I sent out um, a great market update to my old clients. And let me go back here. I don't have a link to this, but this is a great one to do, and Highnote can provide this sort of template for you. But I sent out something very similar to this that really recap all the news and the forecasts for the area. In San Francisco Bay Area, what's happening is AI. AI up the yin yang. There is so much AI here, it's getting sickening. And there's so much money, it's out of control. And so what it's doing is driving up prices, right, for housing. And so I'm talking about that, right? And where is it doing it? It's all up and down Silicon Valley, the peninsula, and in the city. It's driving a lot of the rents higher. A lot of people are moving here now again. San Francisco's back from the depths of COVID, and a lot of work from home policies are changing. People have to work at the office. And so it's changing a lot. And in certain areas, though, right? But AI is also leading to what? Job loss. There's a lot of companies who are laying off people and they are not hiring for entry level coding type positions or any other coding or any sort of knowledge work type positions because they feel like they can replace with AI. So, um, there's job loss, but there's also job gain. But there's low inventory here as well. And so what does that do? It drives prices up. And so I'm just reporting on that. I'm telling all my buyers and sellers that renter leads, whatever. And I just sent out a big email yesterday to my old database. And, putting that together, making a blog post about that, making a social media post about that, making some kind of newsletter about that is really critical for staying in touch. Now, I'm going to give you also another story. I just sold two homes in San Francisco, and one home was in uh, both of the homes I used to live in. It's the oddest thing on earth. I was literally selling the homes I used to live in, and these are the homes. Uh, 821 Folsom 518. We're asking a million one. And this home, the Infinity 301 Main 16H, asking 1775 for a two-bedroom condo. We lived in both homes, and so what does that mean? I stayed in touch with my landlord. And the landlord, at the time when I reached out to them earlier this year, just to say hi and to stay in touch with past, my sphere, basically, said, hey, I'm thinking about selling my home. So I ended up getting these two listings just because I stayed in touch. So stay in touch with your past clients and your past leads, obviously a win. Now, when you get the what is going on? Yeah, John, stop talking about Iran and Israel right now. This is not not appropriate. Anyway, how to convert listing leads. Um, when you get a lead, obviously speed and how you follow up wins deals. Okay. Responding within 5 minutes, 9 times more conversions. So, what you want to do, though, not only respond quickly, is to send something amazing. Now, when you also want to do is match the personality. You should know who your audience is. And a great way to do that is to get their disc profile, their personality profile. And you do that with a tool called Crystal Knows. I've been using this for years and been touting it for years. You would put in their email, and 9 out of 10 times they're going to have social media information about them that they analyze, that they do a disc profile on, and will analyze how you sell to that client. Try it out. It's really amazing. And the way I look at it is the way you sell to a salesperson or to um, a techie or a finance person or someone in marketing is very different. So you want to know who that person is and really tailor your presentations and your feedback to them. This is all about, making your fishing line and your hook better than others. Now, win before the appointment. Okay. How do you do that? Well, you build trust early, and I'm going to show you how to do that later by sending an amazing pre-listing presentation. And you want to be the local expert, really be the local expert. Know off-market listings, know what's coming to market, know what's being rented, know what seller is doing what. Drop local insights into your conversations to stand out immediately, and you're going to win these things the more you know. You can't go into an appointment not knowing a lot of these things because other agents will. So you really need to be the local expert. Now, and always optimize your pitch. The beginning of the year is the best time to get your listing presentations ready so that when you do get the lead, you are not scrambling at the last minute to try to pitch them and win. Right now is the perfect time. Everyone is slow. So optimize your pitch and optimize your listing presentation. Use when you deliver with a program like Highnote, you can use the analytics that you get on the listing presentation you sent or buyer presentation to see what they're reading. Know what slides clients engage with. All right. And okay, I'm gonna ask this question. Hold on. Laura asked, I'm gonna take a pause. Can you give us a framework for the news you're sending for us? Yeah. So, it's local, right? For me, uh, real estate is a super local game. And well, for everyone, it's a super local game. But for me, it's talking about what's going on in my market. And I'm going to try to log in and show you what I sent out, but I don't know. I got to go into another system here, but to get it. But I'll show you exactly what I sent out, and I break it down into multiple factors, multiple areas. One, the economy, and two, um, what I like to talk about is the economy, interest rates, locally, what's happening. And I also talk about zoning changes, um, things like that. So let me show you this one right here so you could see. So this is something I sent with Highnote, but mortgage interest rates, consumer sentiment, housing outlook, local job growth, cost of housing, and zoning and city improvements. So this is what I talk about. Interest rates, right? I talk about consumer sentiment, housing outlook, right? I talk about the local job growth in our area, and I talk about cost of housing and rents, right? Because HOAs and insurance have skyrocketed. So that has a big impact on housing. And then I talk about how San Francisco is changing and doing things. It's going to be different in every market, but you got to figure out what those things are of interest in your market and really key in on those things because it's different everywhere. North Carolina, Florida, San Francisco are all completely different. Now, but back to the presentation. When armed with great presentation, agents win more, much more. And so you need to make yours great, gorgeous and visual, informative, on brand, highly personalized. Okay. And what we found was when our agents had something great like this, they were more professional, which is what you want to do, B, and you built trust faster, and you stood out and won. Professionalism and trust are the keys and standing out. This is how you win every single listing lead with a great presentation. So what we also found was having the best presentation turned our agents into top producers. And that's what you can be too if you have a top producer listing presentation. Another way to look at this, what makes sellers say yes? The science behind it. Well, personal trust and respect. Will this person tell us the truth and put our interests first? That is standard for to win any listing. Can I trust this agent to put my interests first? Right? Path to their goals. Will the plan that the agent deliver and presents actually get us to our price and within our timeline with minimal stress? How is their plan? And are they better than others? That's ultimately what it is. They interview 3 agents. They're trying to pick the best agent, right? So you need to be better than agent A and agent B at every aspect, right? And all right, I'm going to talk about, and I'm going to pause here for a couple questions. And yeah, Les, I could share that template with you. And Highnote's AI can help, but it won't do it all, right? And so we have humans, we have a lot of templates, we have a lot of AI to help you build stuff. And you book a time with Chris, he could show you everything on how to do that. Another person asked, how is AI driving up pricing? Mary, it's driving up pricing in San Francisco. That's where it's driving up pricing. So I was just talking about San Francisco in general. All right. Now, this is how you win every appointment, okay? The lead finds you. The initial email or phone call comes in. You have an in-person meeting. You have a follow-up meeting, and then you have a close. Every single listing and buyer appointment happens this way, right? Now, what we suggest during this time and what we always did was you send something amazing before a meeting. And you either send it to convert the lead or after you get the lead and you're about to go on an appointment, you send something amazing, right? And then you have the in-person meeting and then you have a follow-up meeting, okay? And during the follow-up meeting, follow-up presentation, the follow-up presentation after you met them, you want to send something to follow up, you should send something amazing again, especially if you're on the fence and you can't decide between 3 agents, for example. Now, this is a foolproof method to win. Break up your sales appointments into thirds. Don't just try to win it all at the in-person. Yeah. And why do you want to send a pre-listing presentation? Well, it's your winning edge. A well-crafted pre-listing presentation, whether digital or print, is your secret weapon to dramatically increasing your chances of winning over the sellers, right? Now, why? Well, one, you instantly differentiate yourself. And then when you ask yourself, well, what if the other agent sends a pre-listing presentation and I send one too? How am I different? Well, how would you like it if your competition sends one and you don't send one, right? You need to send one, right? You have to send a pre-listing presentation too, because your competition might be sending it, and yours needs to be better. You can't have a shitty ass presentation that you send over when top agent A is sending something amazing. So you need to be better, right? The other part is, well, it also builds anticipation and authority. You send something ahead of time to prepare the sellers, who they're speaking with, why you, how come you, okay? Positioning you as an expert and then warming them up, pre-selling them before you show up. And why? Because it also streamlines the appointment. You don't need to talk about everything. You don't need to talk about all your background, all your marketing stuff, because they've already seen that when you sent it. And so you can focus on them and their needs when you get to the home, right? And so really set up your appointment to win. This is a great way, the number one way to win listings once you have a listing lead. All right. Now, this is the method that I learned from my old partner, Chris Lim. He's head of growth at Remax now, teaching this methodology to all of the agents. And this is what the pre-listing looks like. And we use digital interactive presentations. Why? Because it stands out, right? Period. It stands out. It's better. And we have a video on ours. And in your pre-listing presentation, what you should talk about in the very beginning is you, who you are, and why you.
I'm Chris Lim, and I'm the founder of
Let me see if I could share my sound here.
You choose from. I guess it's whatever one I'm in. My favorite. I'm Chris Lim, and I'm the founder of Climb Real Estate.
Doesn't have to be professionally produced, but sellers are meeting you because they're meeting another human, right? So you need to relate to that other human on the other side, and video is the best way to do it other than being in person. So if you send something in, send a video, right? Professional or not. And they just want to get to know you and trust you. And that's how you build trust is through human to human interaction. They ain't gonna trust a static PDF as much as they would a live video. Right? Now, talk about your team. Why? Because every top agent has a team, right? If you're a solo agent and you're competing against other agents that have teams, you need to figure out why a solo agent can beat a team. Maybe you're super focused on them, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But I find in my experience, teams win out. And so join a team, make a team. You have a spouse, you have a child who helps you, you have a managing broker, you have a marketing department. Make one up, right? Because they're all part of your team, right? Maybe you have a list of vendors that you like to work with. They're part of your team. Make it your team. And the power of your brokerage, as well as why your brokerage, your presence, your office presence, and some unique services you provide. Okay. And don't put in a thing like, oh, 140 things an agent does for you. That's what every agent does. You should include that, but you also need to include what else you do that other agents do not do, right? So you have to find what that is. What is that that's unique about you that you can say that you do that other agents don't? And if you have a hard time thinking about it, you got to find one, because the more that you have an edge and the more that you can say you do things differently than other agents, the more you're going to win. Now, results that speak for themselves, talk about your past portfolio that resonates with that seller. If they're selling a condo, show your condo sales. If you're selling a home, show the home sales in the neighborhood. If you don't have any home sales in that neighborhood, see if you can put your brokerage sales in there. Make sure you don't steal your agent listings, but say, hey, my brokerage is sold in this area, and these are the other listings we've sold, right? And neighborhood validation. You want to say your brokerage knows this area, because so many out-of-town agents, or there's so many agents who are pitching for listings in an area they're not experienced in. So make sure you're not one of those agents, right? Marketing timeline. And by the way, this is a Highnote template that we actually provide to you and help you build. But marketing timeline, Okay, planning, advisory, off-market prep, listing goes on the market. This is standard for every single listing out there. We provide this graphic for free. After an offer is accepted, what happens? You want to be very clear and show them how a sale goes down because they don't sell their home every day. And in fact, most sellers only sell their homes, chances are, they've never sold a home before, or maybe one other time, a long time ago. And now this is where the personalization of the pre-listing comes in. Send some tax record data or some information about their home that they don't have access to. Public records, property tax information, title report, whatever it may be. Send that in. And why? Because it shows that you did a little homework and you're personalizing the pitch for them. I like to put tax records in there. Why? Because it shows who the owners are. It shows when they bought it. It shows key facts like um, number of beds, number of baths, the square feet, things that are on tax records that everyone can see. So you want to confirm this information because sometimes it's wrong. It's a good point of conversation to talk about. It also talks about what they paid for it, what liens are on here, and any sort of history that you need to know about the home that you need to discuss with the seller. A good one is the ownership. How many times do you find when you're on a listing presentation that the person you're speaking to is not the only owner? There's a brother or a sister or a wife or spouse, a husband or a parent that's that's also a co-owner, and you need to speak with them too because they're a decision maker, right? So bringing that to the forefront is very important. What's the value of the home? Never, and I mean never, send in the value of a home before going to see the home and before understanding what the seller thinks the home is worth. This is a big mistake. How many times have you gone into a listing presentation and you show the value, what you think the value of the home is before you even knew that the seller thinks their home is worth 50,000 more or 100K more? It still happened to me. I would send in, oh, what do you think the value of the home is? And you send it in like a dummy before meeting them or understanding where they think their home value is. Because if you undershoot what they think it's worth, you're already dead. You're already dead. So don't send it now. Go look at the home, go talk to the seller, and do it in the follow-up presentation. You'll shoot yourself in the foot if you send it beforehand. There's no gain. I feel like there's no gain to sending the value before meeting. You need to understand how unrealistic they think their home value is, and you also need to walk the home. A couple times I went and I'm like, whoa, this home is a lot nicer than I thought. It's the nicest home on the block, and it has the best view. I never saw that view before, whatever the case may be. Don't do it. Send it in after. Okay. Sample listing agreement. Send this in too. It's called a presumptive or assumptive close. And what does that mean? Well, it shows strength. It shows strength. It shows like, hey, I'm ready to sign this agreement and start going right away. So send in a sample listing agreement ahead of time. If you send it with Highnote, you get to see if they're reading it, which is incredible information. Now, what is the NAR lawsuit about? Talking about changes. It's still on everyone's brains. Commissions are gone down. What happened? Explain to them what happened. Testimonials, and then don't forget to include your testimonials, obviously, and then why me, right? Why me as the agent? This is a great way, the best pre-listing presentation on the market. And if you send something like this, you're going to win more than you're going to lose. That's for sure. Now, after you do that, I'm going to pause for a second if there are any questions. Any other questions about this so far? This is provided to everyone. If you're a subscriber to Highnote, we also have yeah, be sure to show down. Yeah, okay. And then so what I'm gonna do is give you a demonstration on how these analytics work in Highnote. And I'm going to send you a listing presentation, pre-listing presentation. and show you what happens on my screen as this happens. Give me a second here. I gotta log in. All right, great. So what I'm going to show you is a pre-listing presentation, and I'm going to share it to you. So this one is for Fort Lauderdale. Let's just call it. It's a sample that we made. Um, or let me find a better one here. Yeah, this one, this Larson one I sent out a while ago. Now this is what it looks like. This is the dashboard in Highnote, and this is a pre-listing present, that dynamic digital interactive one that we love to make. I love to send. And I'm going to send this to you now. I'm going to require an email to view just so I know who on this call is viewing it. So this is the type of thing you send to a seller. Everyone click on it, and I'm going to show you what I see on my side. And okay, great. Jason Feller. Jason at fellerteam.com already opened it. And yes, now Ashley also opened it at Kathy Batterton. And then Dick at Lake Iowa Realty opened it. Pat Noop at Corcoran, fantastic. Tia at Aloha, You Deserve. All opened the presentations. You guys are on different browsers. Pat is on a mobile phone on a Chrome browser. Dick at Lake Iowa Realty is on a computer using Edge. He's on a PC. And yeah, and then I could see Tia is on an iPhone. Now, I could see exactly the sections you're looking at. Click into the multiple sections that you see there. Open up some assets. Lisa, she opened up the virtual tour walkthrough. She opened up an office presence. She opened up agent video up close and personal for 5 seconds. So Tia just opened up check out, get to know agent name. Jason just checked out my operational team. So I know what you're looking at. I have great insight into what's important to you as a seller, what you're looking at, and most importantly, what you're not looking at, right? So super really great way to win listings in a very smart way. And if you just email your PDF, you're not going to see that. You are not going to see that information, right? So, and like I said, you need to hone your every single bit of your sales process and sharpen it so that you can beat other agents, right? Now, um, Leslie, that's a great idea. I like that. I'm going to create a mostly generic presentation, ask for feedback from neighbors and friends. Yeah, that's a soft way to tell them you're in the business. That's really great. Now, all right, close with the follow-up presentation. Chris, I'm sorry you can't access your account. Just contact support. Go to success at highnote.io. Success at highnote.io. They'll help you out. All right. Close with the perfect follow-up presentation. You just met them. There's questions. You didn't win the listing in person. So now you got to go for it. Why? Because it's between you and two other people. You and another person. You and their cousin agent. So you need to follow up. And your competition is maybe sending nothing, right? And you have nothing to lose except thousands of dollars of commissions. So what we do is we send another great presentation, and you can use Highnote to do that. And what do you put in a follow-up? Well, you do things like, hey, we walked through your home. This is my assessment of your home. Recommendations. Here's the strategy for selling your home. XYZ, 1, 2, 3. Target demographic, right? Here's who's going to be the likely buyer for your home. We need to position the home in such a way that it resonates with that person. Is it a single buyer? Is it a empty nester? Is it a family? Of course, you can't do outward marketing to target those people, but realistically, if it's a four-bedroom home, it's for a family, right? And so you need to show family types of things you need to make the yard nice, you need to show their bedrooms, etc. It's very different sort of marketing style, but understanding who the buyer is going to be is important. Timing. Is it a good time to put it on the market today? Maybe. Usually not, but maybe. My two listings I sold recently, I put it on in December. And one of them I had off market on a coming soon status because they were in France. So it didn't show well. We didn't have it staged. We didn't have it presented properly, but I had it available for agents who had clients to see. And so we had it on off market. For another listing, we put on the market. And it's very rare to have a unit on in December, but because of AI companies all in our area and moving here constantly, there's a lot of people looking. And guess who bought it? An engineer who works for NVIDIA, and they wanted to live in the city. Why? Because NVIDIA is opening up an office in the city. So he can't wait to get out of the suburbs in Santa Clara where NVIDIA is and move to the city. So for us, it was important, so timing is different for every market. So you got to figure out what that is. Broker price opinion evaluation, then you put in your CMA here. You could insert any CMA system you want, cloud CMA. We like to use the MLS spreadsheets because in San Francisco, they're not cookie cutter. You have to really go through each of these comps to understand what the sales are in these homes, in these neighborhoods, and break it down. So we break it down in this way, and it's different for everyone. Then we have online property values. Yeah, this is what Zillow says. This is what Redfin says. This is what Realtor.com says. You need to show those things. Dangers of overpricing. Make sure you start telling them why you shouldn't overprice. Yeah, it'd be nice to get $500,000, but if your home is worth only 450, it doesn't make sense to price it at 500, right? Sales and marketing calendar, importance of disclosure, reasons why your home isn't selling. Telling them ahead of time, reasons why, and don't make these mistakes. Summary of my recommendations, sample listing agreement, my team, my testimonials, and why me again. This is the way you win and beat every single agent out there with just all you need is a great listing presentation to beat so many people. All right. And all right, I'm going to keep going here. If there's any questions, let me know. Now, the technology. A well-crafted pre-listing presentation, whether digital or print, back to the pre-listing presentation, is your secret weapon to dramatically increases your chance of winning over sellers, right? Now, you can do it in three ways. You could print it, and I would recommend you print it. You need a printout. So you need like a great professionally produced one to print out and bring. I would always recommend bringing one. You could take that PDF and you could email it to them as well. And I wouldn't recommend doing that because they're huge. They can be huge, 50 megabytes, 100 megabytes. I saw one listing presentation PDF, 250 megabytes. You think they're going to be able to open that easily on their computer? Most people are not. And or online and interactive. Top agents, the difference between top agents and average agents is top agents do everything. They go for broke. They have the best marketing. They spend the most on marketing. They have the best photography. They have the best knowledge of the area, and they do the most. So what you should do is really make your efforts and do the most. Get a printed one, but also upgrade your presentation so that it's online and interactive, right? And that's how you win listings. Now, Highnote is a great way to do such a thing because why? Well, you absolutely need a great presentation today. It needs to be digital, right? And it needs to be online and interactive. Everyone's talking about tech. Everyone loves tech, and you need to upgrade your presentations to be tech forward. Um, and what is Highnote? Well, it's a next generation real estate sales platform, digital, interactive, and AI based. drag and drop assets, easy to build. Notifications and analytics, I already demoed that to you. Use these notifications and analytics to sell and close buyers and sellers. Read their minds with real-time notifications. The great thing about these notifications is you see what not only what they're reading, but what they're not reading. And when they don't open the presentation that you send, it's another way to call them back. Hey, I sent you something in advance of our meeting. Be sure to check this out. And it's a great way to elevate your service level and to differentiate yourself. Build enhance with AI, lots of AI features to build assets, to rewrite text, great stuff that we're adding in here. We also have templates, great templates that are available. And the three things, trust and credibility. Two, showing your value. And three, showing you're tech forward and better than other agents. Stand out from the other agents, right? And set up the in-person meeting for success, right? That's the reason why you send this out. And so many agents win with Highnote. Katie Day, she won 23 listings on one Highnote. This agent is a 21-year-old rookie. He beat the number 3 agent in his city because of his Highnote. Highnote was the absolute difference maker for a listing I won, where I was competing against the number 3 agent in my city. This agent said the seller canceled the other agent's appointments after spending 2.5 hours reviewing the Highnote pre-listing presentation. And this older age gentleman sold and $2.25 million listing and $599,000 listing with one Highnote. So lots of use cases, client updates, marketing and digital flyers, open house sign-in, winning offers, recruiting, so many things. You're having 10 tools in one, right? Having a platform like Highnote allows me to present every aspect of our communication from nurture to close. You're not just getting a listing presentation tool. All these use cases, digital flyers, a lot of agents use it for property marketing, welcome books when they first come into a home or they buy a home, agent to agent walkthroughs, which is a really cool use case. This one agent uses it for because he shows homes on lockbox. So he sends a Highnote out to that agent to make sure they know everything they need about that home to sell it. Seller portals, sales portfolios, link in bio or email signature, neighborhood guides. You're getting so many things. And then I talked to you about the annual real estate reviews. Done for you templates. You don't have time to make things. So we provide a service to help you build. We have a one-on-one meeting with you, fast turnaround time, multiple template styles, unlimited edits. And then we do custom PDF editing if you want. For extra, we give you a full Highnote tutorial and teach you how to win. We also guarantee the results. If you buy a done-for-you service and have our team set it up for you, and if you use it as described, if it doesn't help you win more, we'll refund your money. No questions asked. And more business guaranteed with Highnote. What does Highnote cost? $33.25 a month. So inexpensive to win one more listing, one more buyer, right? It's great. And done for you presentation. If you want help to build ones, $350 each listing presentation that we help you build. Again, well worth the effort and investment to make sure you have the best fishing rod to catch the most fish out there. Okay. In 2026, what you need to do is have a great presentation. It's an easy way to win. Absolute easy way to win. And all right, scan this. You get the free guide. How to win listings before your listing appointment. How to make sure your listing appointment is successful. And how to wow buyers before an appointment. Scan that. I'm going to leave it on here. And I'm going to answer questions now. Let me see. Can you compress the size without compromising the layout? Yeah. I mean, it's online, so it's an online link. So there's no size you need to worry about necessarily. You're not sending a big attachment, which is the whole appeal of Highnote. These guys, could these work with follow-up boss? Yeah, we're adding you obviously can send presentations through Follow Up Boss, really easy to do. We have an integration, an API as well that will help capture analytics and leads into Follow Up Boss. Yeah, we have Ashley asked, are you willing to share the template you use for follow up? Yeah, we have those all on our site. Chris can show you those, but if you go to templates and you can, there's tons of follow up presentations there. Yeah, and then yeah, of course AI. You want to use AI for everything now, but make sure it's personal and doesn't look like AI, right? I think everyone's getting tired of all the fake AI out there. Um, and yeah, any questions? That is the end of our presentation. And 2026 is going to be a little bit better, but it's business as usual. You got to play the long game, and you got to fish in more ponds. You have to make um, business from your old repeat business. And when you do get a lead, you got to make sure you win the lead. And this is the way to do it. So, all right, cool. Any questions? I'm gonna pause for a second. Recording is available, Steve. Yep. And any other questions? Follow up, boss. Yes. Recording will be emailed out. Probably give us a day. Happy New Year, Steve. Any other questions? Thank you, Kathy. I'm just going through some messages here. Awesome. All right, guys, thank you very much. And again, if you have any questions, book a time with Chris. He can help you out and show you the power and get you set up. Thanks again. We also have a code, a discount code. Ask Chris for that as well and to help you out with that code. All right, guys, thank you so much. Talk soon.